Hello and welcome to this video course where we will be discussing the multiple ways that you can profit from the information products that you purchase. Now, these methods that we'll be talking about in this course, you'll be able to implement them regardless of the reason that you bought the product. For example, let's say that you bought a new affiliate marketing method or a course or an instructional method teaching you how to do affiliate marketing in a new way. This course will be discussing how you'd profit from that course in every way other than the method that you're being taught in the course. So we're going to discuss how you use that product that you bought in order to make profits in every other way. So now this course is going to be delivered in 6 parts. Part 1 will discuss the turning of your purchase into an actual service, and we'll talk about how you do that. Part 2 will discuss turning your webinar attendances into its own product. Part 3 will discuss turning your purchases into new products. Part 4 will discuss turning your purchases into affiliate promotions and a concept called affiliate jacking, which is short for affiliate hijacking. Part 5 will discuss using webinars and workshops along with your purchases in order to profit. And Part 6 will discuss PLR jacking or PLR hijacking. And we'll wrap up with using your purchases for list building. Now, this course, we will discuss all of these parts in a way for you to be able to take them and then use them for profit. Now, let's first talk about the mindset you're going to need in order to monetize all of your purchases. So whether or not you bought a piece of software, whether or not you buy an information product, whether or not you buy a piece of PLR, whatever it is that you're buying, you want to be able to profit from it in every way. And we want to talk about how you think about that in order to profit. And basically, we're going to suggest that you need to have a business and accounting mindset. And if you've ever did anything with respect to accounting, whether or not it was in school or in business, there are some basic building blocks when it comes to accounting. There are assets. So these are things that you buy for the purpose of using them in order to allow your business to make money. So for instance, you could buy membership software. That software in and of itself won't make you money, but buying the software is going to be necessary for you to be able to create sites and lock up content so that you'll be able to create places for your customers to go once they purchase. You can also buy a product for the sake of revenue. So the product all by itself brings in cash. So let's say that you go and you buy a website that's already cash flowing. You buy it with the express purpose, understanding that the website will actually start paying you and putting money into your account. There is also expense. So this actually costs you money in some way. These are the fees that you're going to have to pay in order to do business. Autoresponder fees, hosting fees, all the kinds of things that you have to pay out that won't necessarily pay you directly, but they are the cost of doing business. Finally, there is inventory, which you can take and sell for cash, and that would be your PLR and your resale rights products. You're going to be able to take them and resell them at a retail level. So the question is going to be, when you start thinking about your purchases, how do your purchases fall into these categories? And you want to start thinking about that even if you buy, let's say, a piece of software and it has a purpose, you want to also think in terms of how else can you use it? Can you use it as an asset? Can you use it as revenue? To bring you revenue? Can you use it in order to resell it? And if you think in that way, you are going to then be able to find new ways to monetize your purchases. Now, one of the keys to being able to buy for profit any product, regardless of what its purpose is to understand the basic foundation of internet marketing. Now, let's discuss what we mean by that. Basically, the mindset to have is to understand that information marketing, or internet marketing as we know it, or online marketing with the express purpose of creating information for sale, is a trade. It doesn't necessarily take a college degree. It doesn't necessarily take a profession. It takes an understanding of how the mechanisms work. And so for you to understand how the mechanisms work, just as you would if you had to be a plumber, just as you would if you had to be a carpenter, you need certain tools to do internet marketing. You need things like autoresponders. You need things like sales pages and landing pages. Understanding the tools that you need to buy is important for you to be able to do the trade. And understanding that when you start thinking about what you're buying, one of the things that you're going to need to do is to make sure that you have the tools of the trade first before you start buying for some of these other reasons. You are going to need to have certain training, or you're going to need to be able to access certain people with that training. You are going to need to understand copywriting. You are going to need to be able to understand outsourcing. You're going to need to understand graphics and how they fit into the sales process. You are going to need to understand content and how it draws people in, research and how it goes into your product development, social, search. These are ways of bringing people to your actual website or to your web presence, video and how it comes across. So basically, you want to understand that these are going to be things that you need to understand, even if you choose not to be the person to do it. If you're going to have someone else do it, you want to have an understanding of how it works. If you have to outsource copywriting, you want to understand what good copy is. If you want to outsource your graphics when you get the actual package back, you want to understand what good graphics look like. If you are going to have your copy outsourced or your content outsourced, you want to understand what good content is and whether or not it's effective in what it does. So whether or not you have someone else do these things or not, you still want to have enough training in your brain to be able to make sure that you understand what's happening. And of course, any trade can become a business. For example, you can be a plumber and learn the trade, but you can then start your own plumbing business, and internet marketing is no different. If you think about it in this way, these are certain things that you're going to have to understand even as you start to create an internet marketing business. When you start teaching others, this is when it becomes a profession. So in other words, when you start to generate income that is recurring, when you can start to dictate what your methods are, when you can generate profits at will, it will become a profession. You can then start teaching people what you have learned. So understanding these points, understanding that internet marketing as a trade is important as you start to buy, making sure that you have the tools of the trade before you attempt to then start taking some of the purchases that you have to turn them into other profits. So make sure that you understand some of these basics, and if you don't understand them, make sure that you have a plan to start understanding them so that you will then begin to see the relationships between what you've purchased and being able to find buyers or people that need what you can bring to the marketplace. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing part 1, which is turning your purchases into services. Now, when you turn your purchases into services, you might want to think about, well, why would we want to do that? Why would we want to take products we've already purchased and turn them into a service? Why would we want to use them in a different way than they were intended? Well, one of the things that a service does is it primes the internet marketing pump. It warms up your PayPal account. What do we mean by that? We mean that it actually gets things going. It gets activity happening in your business. And if you don't have any activity in your business, starting a service can be one of the easiest ways for you to be able to get contact with customers, to get into the internet marketing circle, to start actually doing business with people that eventually maybe you even want to joint venture with. One of the things that starting a service does is it allows you to see a revenue generating operation from the inside. Typically, if you're going to start a service for a particular product, you are going to have to work with that vendor, and you're going to actually see how they were able to generate sales, how they were able to do a launch, how they were able to put together what it is that they want to do. It also will allow you to see how they put together their sales page. So it forces you, and it will allow you to do a deep dive into another business so that you can create a service based on that business or that product. It also, and we mentioned this just a minute ago, puts you in touch with present and future partners that will know you. So you'll have to do business with the vendors that obviously have the product, and especially if you want them to endorse you, you are going to start to make contact with people that you are going to want to do business with in the future, people that you are going to promote as an affiliate, or people that you want to promote you when you actually release your own product. Doing a service gets you known in the marketplace. So you will then begin to start developing a brand or something that you are known for, something that you have a specialty in, something that you understand. You will then start to become someone who can actually do a particular thing or a particular set of things. It actually puts you in a position to connect people together. So when you're doing a service, you are going to come in contact with many vendors, you're going to come in contact with many affiliates, and you're going to have access to people in different sides of different parts of the internet marketing world, and you're going to be able to bring those people together when you know about something. So you may know that someone's looking for a designer, or you may know that someone's looking for a partner for a particular kind of product, and because you have these different aspects of what you do in a service, you are going to be able to connect those people together. Now, you may be asking, what kind of services can be created from your purchases? When you think about the hardware and physical purchases that you have for your business, you can actually turn those into services that you can offer to other internet marketers or other entrepreneurs. For example, if you have recording equipment, you can turn that into any number of things, but one particular thing that would be of interest to internet marketers is you can turn that into interview services. You can actually interview their customers. You can interview that entrepreneur so that they can have a profile of themselves. So there are lots of things that you can do if you have recording equipment to offer a service to other entrepreneurs. If you have green screen equipment, you can turn that equipment into a video service that you can offer in your local area, or you can also do videos for other marketers. Now, you'll probably find that some people are offering those services on Fiverr. However, you want to offer a premium service to other internet marketers. When you understand what it is that they are trying to do in their business, you can offer that to them. You have screen share software. You can turn that into creative services. You can do videos for other people who want to create courses. You can do tutorials. You can do customer service videos for people who have websites but they want to train their customers. Lots of opportunities for people who have screen share software that they can use in order to create videos and edit them. If you have audio related purchases, you can turn them into voiceover services, which you can again offer to other internet marketers. You can offer to other entrepreneurs. These are fantastic ways for you to be able to monetize your existing purchases and really get them into generating income for you. If you have software and other internet services, there are a range of things that you can do in order to offer different kinds of services. For example, if you have a webinar system, you can turn that into a webinar service. You can actually do webinars for other people. You can actually host summits for other people. There are lots of things that you can do for people who would rather not do webinars, who don't have the time, or who would rather not operate the webinar but have someone working on it with them. You can start setup services. So if you think about people who use WordPress, you can actually set up their WordPress and get them started. People who have different kinds of themes or things like that, you can actually do those things as a setup service. You can actually offer that setup service to the back end of a PLR course. So someone has a PLR product, but they don't want the hassle of having to put it up online. You can actually go to a vendor and allow them to offer your service to their customers to put their websites up. And again, this is going to be the kind of relationship you want to develop with other marketers, because this is going to bring you customers and it is actually going to allow you to be in a central position to connect other people. You can put a setup service at the back end of a new method. So if you have a product or service, you can actually offer this setup service as a premium to what it is that you are actually selling in the marketplace. One of the things, if you know how to rewrite or you know how to write sales copy, you can always rewrite other people's PLR or sales copy. One thing that internet marketers hate to do is to actually set up a brand new membership site. If you understand a particular kind of membership site or a particular kind of software, you can actually be one of the people who set up this site. And again, you can be known to the vendor who actually sells that membership site, or you can actually just be known around the industry as the person who understands how to set up certain kind of membership sites, and you can do a premium service. Lots of ways for you to be able to use your ability and your knowledge of a particular software system. Lots of people do not necessarily want to set up their own retargeting. If you know how to set up retargeting, you can actually do that for other people. Lots of people do not necessarily want to set up their own paid advertising on YouTube or Google. If you know how to do those things, these are things that you can actually offer to other marketers as a service. For your software purchases, you can actually offer training. So there's a particular kind of software package that people are buying, but yet it's a little technical. You can actually sell or offer training. Or you can offer setup services for some of those software purchases. So as you can see, there are lots of different ways for you to be able to take your existing products, turn them into services depending on where the market is and what people really desire. If you think about what kind of things people really don't want to do for themselves when it comes to using some of the equipment and the software purchases that you already have, you can easily turn those into services to be offered in the marketplace. And if you're willing to go even further and contact the vendor, that vendor can actually make you known to their customers. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. So the question is going to be, how do you start a service from your existing purchase? How do you find these people who really need what it is that you have in terms of a specialty? And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for those people ahead of time, obviously, who have product launches related to what you want to offer. You want to make sure if you're going to offer a special in terms of a particular membership site and it's related to a particular product launch, you want to be the person to offer that service. And so you need to have an eye on sites like MunchEye, on sites like JV Notify Pro, what's actually happening. You want to do it ahead of time if possible, and then you want to be able to go to that vendor and you want to go first in providing value to them. And so you want to make sure that you have the value to offer them, but you want to go first. You don't want to come to them and expect that they're just going to give you a spot on their download page. You want to make sure that you have already offered them some kind of value. This might mean that you're going to have to establish some kind of partnership or relationship prior to their actual launch. And quite frankly, this is not going to sit well with all marketers, especially if they don't know you. You're going to have to ask nicely. And then you're going to have to be okay with no. And the first time that you actually approach someone about this, it's likely that you're going to get a lot of no's. You don't need a lot of yeses in order to make a particular service work. And you haven't lost anything by asking the question. So when you go to a marketer, you go to someone who's got a product launch coming together or a series of product launches, you want to be able to offer them that service. If you need to, show them what it is that you can do. And then you keep asking until you get a yes. That means if you have to ask the vendor for on their next product launch, you go back and you ask them again. Or if you need to continue to ask other vendors, other people who have product launches, you keep asking until you get a yes. Now again, what you're doing is you're just setting up a service. You're setting up a system where you are asking people who already have products that are coming out that you can either be on their download page or that you can be someplace in their members area so that they know that you can offer the service. And it's actually a benefit to the vendor when they have a particular part of their product or what they're teaching and they need someone that can set other people up. It's actually a benefit to them because it helps their customers. And this is important. Don't rely solely on marketplaces like Freelancer and Upwork. Some of the best opportunities are going to come outside of those traditional marketplaces. You might find that you might find success in the warrior form, but you're going to be able to find success by developing personal relationships with other marketers and other vendors who are actually looking to get products in the marketplace, but may or may not want to develop a particular service. And that's the way this is going to work. Develop personal relationships. And again, you want to do this in the way that you want to treat people the other way that you want to be treated. So if someone says no, that's not what I'm looking to do, or they say no, please don't ask me anymore, then don't ask. But develop the kind of relationship with other marketers where they feel or they sense that you are the kind of person that they would want their customers to be around. And be willing to do this for the insider edge. So in some cases, you might not necessarily get the best spot on the download page, but in a lot of cases, what's going to happen is someone's going to offer you the ability to offer the service, and you're going to see the inside of someone else's operation. And sometimes this is more valuable than actually getting a customer. You're going to actually see the inside of a product launch from very experienced marketers, and this will be a help to you in other areas of your internet marketing business. So what are you going to need in order to turn their purchases into services? You're going to have a skill in the trade in some way, shape, or form. And that means that you're going to have to be able to do something that people value. Maybe you can put together graphics. Maybe you can do WordPress. Maybe you can actually do webinars. You need to have some kind of skill. And one of the best places to go is the Warrior Forum to start thinking about, well, what kind of services do people want? What kind of services are people looking to buy? You can actually go and determine that before you start figuring out where you're going to offer a skill. But if you already have something that you do well, and maybe you just haven't been able to figure out how to put it into a product, this is a great way of being able to monetize that skill. Of course, you need to have the equipment to offer the skill. So if you're going to do voiceovers, make sure that you've got the best miking system. Make sure if you're going to do course creation, make sure that you've got Camtasia or ScreenFlow and the ability to edit videos. You need to have the equipment to offer the skill. You also need to have fair and reasonable pricing. Now, you don't need to be a partner to a vendor, and then you want to offer outrageous pricing, even if you're going to give them a commission. You want to do this in a way that's fair and reasonable to their customers, so that they feel good about introducing you to their customers, so that the customer feels good about buying from you. Again, your pricing should be fair and reasonable. You want to have leverage from personal relationships. So when you actually go into this, again, this just goes back to talking to people about what it is that you do, so that they know that they can offer your service to them. And again, this is going to come back to how you're getting along with other marketers and other vendors. And of course, you need to get something to offer to get more leverage. So if you're gonna offer the marketer is going to get a spot on your you're going to get a spot on the marketer's download page. What's going to happen is you want to give that marketer something in return. You want to be able to offer that marketer something. Maybe you're going to do a future promotion for them if you have a list. Maybe you're going to give them some kind of free part of your service. You're going to do some of that service for them. Offer something to them to get more leverage. They'll be more willing to actually give you the spot and introduce you to their customers. And here's something that is kind of key that's related to everything that has been said. Start looking at the things that you purchase as a partner list. So when you start looking at some of the things that you've bought, you want to start looking at these people as potential partners. If you thought well enough that the product is something that you want, well, more than likely there are going to be other people who have bought it also. And then if you can actually do something with that product and you can actually help people, this is going to be someone that you want to partner with. And lastly, you're going to need to know when and how to say no when you are offering a service. Now, you are going to be a freelance service. You're not necessarily going to be a service that's going to be at will. You want to give people the opportunity to contract with you. You want to give people the opportunity to pitch their product to you, but you don't want to say yes to everything. And so you want to have the ability to either shut down your service when you get too busy, or if too many orders are coming in, you want to be able then to say that you are full, or that your calendar is full. In some cases, this is going to mean that you want to be able to offer an appointment calendar. So then make sure that you know when and how to say no, and that is built into the business and the service that you are offering. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Part 2, turning webinar attendance into products. Now, if the question is what you can do with the products that you already have on your hard drive right now, the most sensible thing to do is to maximize your time. Everything that you're doing in internet marketing, you want to make sure that you're getting the maximum return on that time and how you spend it. So This turning webinars into products is a related strategy that you will look at some of the webinars that you have already attended and that you are attending on a regular basis. Now, when you go to a webinar, what you have to understand is that any good webinar that's converting for the vendor, the content in that sales process is really designed to be true. So you don't have to worry about whether or not it's trying to trick you or to fool you. It really tends to be true because people want you to go ahead and take the next step and buy because what's being presented on that webinar is actually true. What typically happens on a webinar is that it's the how that you typically have to buy or how you speed it up. So in other words, everything that you're hearing on the webinar, you're probably noticing that, yeah, it rings true, it resonates with you. And then you tend to have to, if you want to go further and you want to know actually how to do it or you want to get tools to do it, you would have to go ahead and make the purchase of what's being offered. So it's important to note that you are going to be upfront about the idea when you turn this content that you're getting into a product. You're going to be upfront about where it came from. So you don't have to worry about plagiarizing. You don't have to worry about using somebody else's idea and getting in trouble with it. When you actually put these ideas into your products, you are going to be talking about the fact that this is something that you learned on a webinar from this person. Now, you are also, though, going to make sure that you are adding a unique twist and your own results. The other thing you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to take some of this content and you're going to be able to add it into some of the private label rights products that you're purchasing in order to make them unique. So you're really creating a unique product by, number one, getting your own results, number two, adding your own unique twist to what you're actually doing and learning on the webinar. So now the question then is, how do you get started turning webinar attendance into your own unique products? Now, instead of trying to find the right product idea, you want to start looking at really popular webinars. So if you don't have a niche, you don't have a product that you're creating, you want to start looking at the webinars that everyone's attending and that everyone's talking about. Probably the ones that you're getting in your email box, probably the ones that you're being targeted by on Facebook, the ones that are appearing in your news feed or on your YouTube channel. You want to make sure that you start attending some of those webinars, and when you attend it, you're going to make sure that you're taking great notes. Now, you want to look especially over the webinars you personally attended over the last month. That's a good indication that they interested you. Something about them caught your attention. Something about them made you want to attend them. Look at those webinars, and if you can, get the recording to really take a serious look at what was taught on that webinar. Start asking yourself, which ones were the best webinars? Which ones attracted you? Which ideas or which problems really brought you to the point where you felt like you had to attend that webinar? Which one of those webinars solved a real problem? Which one of those webinars had a problem that other marketers had that you talked to? See, this is important because this is going to be the kind of product with appeal for other people. When you start launching products that are like this, these are going to be ones that, at the very least, people are going to be interested in the subject matter. Of course, you're going to have to make sure that your sales copy converts. You're going to make sure you have to deliver on what you promise. But if people are already interested in the concept, they're already interested in solving the problem, you've got a good insight on what people are going to be willing to buy. Now, how did the entrepreneur or marketer solve the problem? What is it that they did in order to help the people who are on that webinar actually get to the point where they can overcome whatever is being discussed on that webinar? What did they do? Did they offer a piece of software? Was it something that they automated? Was it some kind of instruction that they were giving that helped the entrepreneur solve the problem? And so what you want to start thinking about is, what are the alternatives to solving the problem? So if they offered software, is there an alternative to being able to do that? Is there a way to manually do it, but to do it faster than the way that they explained it on the webinar? With the instruction that they gave or that they introduced, is there an alternative to being able to do it that way? This is important because, again, this is going to be how you're going to twist that concept that you learned on a webinar in order to offer your own unique solution to a problem that's already been proven to be one that people are interested in solving. Now, what are the downsides to solving the problem their way? In other words, they're going to have a certain way that they're going to be able to do it, but what is the downside? What could possibly go wrong if they solve the problem their way? Because that's going to be an opening for you to solve the problem your way. And of course, lastly, when you start thinking about how you're going to bring something unique to the marketplace, who else knows how to solve the problem? Because if you can bring experts to solve that problem in another way, if you can bring a group of them and you can bring them together to focus on that problem, it may not necessarily be the whole of your solution, but it is a way or a start for you, again, to be able to offer something unique that the marketplace does not have about something that they are interested in. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when we talk about turning your webinar attendance into products, we want to come to the point where we understand what we can bring to the market that actually solves the problem that we have been discussing, that the webinar is actually highlighting. Now, Dr. Lisa Lang has a theory, and it's called Mafia Offers, and it's about changing what it is that you can actually offer based on what the market is really requiring. So if you understand what the market really wants, what it's looking for in a solution, even if you don't fully offer that, you can actually turn and consider how you can then offer what it is that the market wants to solve the actual problem. So when you consider that, you want to think about, what can you bring? Can you bring experts to the problem? So in other words, do people want to know, do people want expert opinion about how to solve the problem? Do they want a smorgasbord of people and opinions on what they can do to actually undertake a solution? Do they want automation? So can you bring automation to a problem? In other words, do they want to speed up the process? Do they want to make sure that they're able to do more things? Do they want to do more tracking? What can you bring in terms of automation? This is typically going to be the creation of software, the creation of macros, or something that actually speeds up the process and allows the customer not to have to do something that they had to previously do. Is there a workaround? So maybe there's already software in the market and what you're going to be offering is a workaround. Maybe there's another way to think about solving the problem. So think about how you can come and approach the actual solution. Do they want content? In other words, do they want to be able to teach other people or sell to other people? Can you bring content to a situation? We're probably talking about private label rights and PLR and resale rights and master resale rights. Can you bring tools to solve a problem? So can you actually give them solutions in terms of putting things in their hands that are going to be helping them to actually solve the problem? Now, this probably falls into the area of software, but in some cases, you can actually give them tools that'll operate on the website. Sometimes it can be cloud-based. You want to start thinking about, again, how you can give them tools. And maybe these tools actually operate with the software. So again, think about how you fit in to the solution to the problem. Can you bring them instruction? So is there a part of the instruction that is vague, that they are not necessarily getting the full picture that will help them to be successful? Maybe they don't understand why they're doing something. So think about, again, how you can add to the conversation that is actually already happening. Can you add a service? Right? This kind of goes back to the previous module where we talked about being able to add a service. Sometimes what you can do is you can add a service to an actual problem in order to make sure that it gets solved and that you can implement your own solution. Is there a different formula? Is there a different formula that's going to be cheaper for the buyer? Is there a different formula that's going to be easier for the buyer? Is there a different formula that's going to be more effective? So again, you don't necessarily have to mention the other solution, but can you bring something to the market that works totally better because it's based on a totally different approach to solving the actual problem? Now, let's talk about where we're going to announce our launch. So we want to think about talking to the webinar host. So maybe there's a way that the webinar host can actually offer this as an additional solution. Now, in most cases, this is probably not going to necessarily happen, but this can be a fantastic way of being able to be in front of people on a relevant basis. And again, you want to have that conversation anyway. You want to understand what their business model is and how they intend to approach the solution. Sometimes the vendor, if you've got something that's an add-on to what they're doing, this fits into even what we talked about previously in terms of offering a service. You can actually add on and actually enhance the experience of their customers. You can actually introduce your product in a Facebook group. So you want to make sure that this Facebook group, though, is one where that problem is already being experienced. And of course, you want to have the permission of the person who actually runs the group. Multi-level marketing associates often want new solutions. So you can actually offer this inside of multi-level marketing companies where maybe they've got their own proprietary solution, but you can offer a more efficient one. Sometimes you might offer an affiliate commission, but again, it's a way of being able to get in front of people and to get new customers. Of course, you can be inside of LinkedIn groups and any social media groups. You can do it especially inside local meetups where this doesn't necessarily take place, as well as local networking groups. So there are a number of places where you are going to be able to take what you're doing and bring your product to a new audience, to bring your solution to a new audience and offer it in a different way. So think about, once again, how you can bring something different to the market that the market really wants. You want to think about making a mafia offer, which is the offer that cannot be refused, even if you have to change what it is you're doing to be able to offer it. That's really the key to being able to make a mafia offer. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Part 3, the 7P method for creating products. Now we're going to be applying the 7P method to your existing purchases. So we're talking about the same subject, which is how to monetize all of your existing internet marketing purchases that you have on your hard drive. Now, the method is a variation of one that was discussed at a recent JVZoo conference. And one of the presenters there actually came up with a way that you can actually create a product and get in front of people, as well as to get attraction from affiliates. And so what this is going to require, and we're going to be talking about the 7 Ps, and I'm going to introduce them to you now, is practice, personalize, profit, proof, plug, product and persuade, and promotion. And we're going to get into individually what these things mean. We're going to do this in 2 parts, and we're going to talk about the first 4 right now. Now, let's talk about what it means to practice. You should really be able to use what it is that you have. So one of the ways that we're going to turn one of these products that we have is to be able to actually use it, to become an expert, to become good at using it for the purpose that it was actually intended for. And of course, as always, your goal is going to be to get a result. Even if the product is one of instruction, if it's one of software, your goal, your ultimate goal is going to be one to get a result that not everyone is able to get. Maybe your goal is going to be to get a number of new leads. This is going to be something that's going to be attractive to other internet marketers. Maybe it's going to be more sales, or maybe you're already getting sales. Maybe you're going to be able to do it in less time. You're going to be more productive in what it is you do. And of course, as is the case, you don't have to worry if the method doesn't work exactly the way it was proposed in the original product. What you want to do is go through your process and work through the problems, because working through problems is actually going to be a good thing, because this is what's going to make it your method and it's going to make it a unique product. So from practice, we go to personalization or personalize. So what we're going to do now that we have a method, we have it working, we're able to get a result. We want to then start making tweaks based on our own intuition. We want to start thinking about ways that we might do the process differently. And we're going to take different methods and different paths to try to get to the goal that we have. And again, remember, what's important here is going to be our goal with that product. We're going to test different conclusions, just as you would do in a scientific method. You're going to test hypotheses. You're going to ask different questions that you don't see covered in either the manual or the tutorials. You're going to ask over and over, once you're getting a result, what if? What if you tried something different? What if you wanted a different result? What if there were different scenarios? You want to ask the kind of questions that you have that maybe were not covered or were not necessarily directed in the actual intent of the product. You then want to start developing your own resource list. So as you develop your product, you want to think about, well, what resources are you bringing to actually make it work that maybe were not included in the other product? You want to develop your own workarounds. This is vital. Again, once you're getting a result, the rest of this is going to be very academic. Probably the most important thing is to start getting a result. When you do that, you're going to start developing your own workarounds, your own shortcuts. You want to start thinking about things like designing your own software to answer your questions for your business. Maybe your business has a particular way of which you do things. You want to start thinking about, well, how can you design something that will answer your question, that will help you to accomplish your goals? Because that software is actually going to be sellable when you develop it yourself. Now, we're also going to want to have proof. So at every stage at which we're doing anything, in this process, we want to take a step and document everything that we're doing. We want to make sure whether we keep it in a journal, whether we keep it in a Google Doc, whatever we're doing, we want to make sure that every little step that we're taking, we are noting it down, because this is actually going to be the basis for our product. This is going to make for great case studies. And in some cases, a case study is sellable all by itself. It's going to make for very easy info product creation when you actually have to go back over what it is that you did. And it also helps you to know how to reproduce the results, how to teach people how they can get the same result that you did from the beginning. You want to document conditions. You want to document the time of day that you're doing, taking the steps that you're taking. You want to document the demographics. Document anything that you think of that could be a variable. It could be a vital thing that you can point out and a vital angle in your sales copy. Now, finally, in this video, we want to go over this word that we're calling plug. And basically, we're talking about creating a video testimonial for the vendor. So you were able to gain this insight because you actually got a product, you used it, and it actually worked for you. So you're going to start thinking about how you can make the vendor look good. Put it on YouTube. You want to take it then from YouTube and then share it on social media. When you do that, make sure that you're tagging the individuals that are involved. Contact them and then make them aware of how you're promoting them and their product and how it worked. Transcribe the testimonial and then make it available, whether or not it's online. So make sure that everything that this person did, that you put it out there, that you make sure it's available in all forms, that everybody can read it, and especially the vendor. And this is going to actually help you to be able to bridge the gap between an introduction and actually having someone who would be willing and open to you and promoting your product when it is ready. Okay, now we're going to go over the rest of the 7 P's in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to start with the second part of the 7 P's, and we're starting with the avenue of profit. And basically the first part of the profit section, we want to see something through until it already gets a result. And we've talked about that in a previous video. So we want to start with that as the premise of creating our product, the result. And then once we get a result, of course, we're going to be developing our own secret method, our own unique path to actually getting a profit. And we're going to be able to do this whether or not we're talking about an information product. We want to make sure that the information that we're giving is going to be our direct path. So again, the documentation is important. If we're going to be taking PLR and we're going to be doing it, now obviously, typically we're not going to be reselling it as PLR, but we can sell it as our unique product. Again, if we have our own unique method and way of being able to process what it is that people need to do. And of course, if we're going to create our own software which automates the process. Now, the second part of this is whether or not we're going to be able to reproduce the results. And that's where the result comes in. So can we, on demand, continue to produce the same result consistently over and over and over again with our method or whatever it is that we're going to be delivering when we actually make the sale? Of course, what's going to be of interest to internet marketers is going to be whether or not we can scale it. I mean, we don't want to give something that people are going to have to spend all their time and effort in order to make work. We want them to be able to either outsource the process, or we want them to be able to use paid advertising or some way of them being able to scale it up so that if they don't necessarily have time to really make it big, that they can. This is going to be a key selling point when we get ready to actually write our copy. And of course, we start then talking about the actual product. We are going to then create our product. That means getting our sales page together and making sure that our product is ready for sale. And when we do that, we're going to be using our documentation. So whatever it is that we did in terms of our product, that is really going to be the core purpose or the core part of our product. The most important aspect of our sales copy is going to be the fact that we were able to get this result over and over again, and we can prove it. Going to be able to prove it with our result. And in some cases, if we can actually get people to take our product, use it, and get the same results, this is going to be a fantastic way of being able to put social proof on our sales page. Now, if possible, we want to put it on the same affiliate network that the vendor is on, because again, we want to have that relatability, and we actually are going to want them to be willing, and we want it to be easy for them to promote. And then, one thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that we're purchasing their product. We want to make that as part of our method. We want to put that in our product, that people need to get the core method from the actual vendor. And again, all this does is this really kind of helps us to build that relationship with the vendor, make them more open to promoting our product when they're ready. And of course, that is the last part of the method. We are actually going to want someone to promote our product. We're going to ask the vendor to promote our product naturally. And we're going to get our sales page ready. We're going to host it on Muncheye. We're going to get everything together and make sure that anything that is a question that has already been answered, everything that we can possibly do to make it easy for someone to promote. Again, we are going to want to make sure that if we have a JV page that looks like all the other JV pages. So if the other JV pages have swipes, if the other JV pages have bonuses or bonus pages, we want to have those things too on ours. We want to make it easy for people to promote. And then we're going to approach the vendor and ask them to promote our product. It's pretty much going to be that simple. We want to apply for an affiliate link to their product and let them know that their product is part of our package. Again, we want to make this as enticing as we can to the vendor in order for them to promote our product. Okay, so that is the end of the 7P method of taking your purchases and turning them into your own products. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing launch jacking, which is an advanced form of affiliate marketing while we're on the subject. And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to find out about the future launch. Now in this particular case, this is not going to be so much about a product that you already have. This is going to be more about a product that you know you're probably going to want to buy. And you're going to be doing a lot of these things before the product actually launches. So in this particular case, you're going to do a review of that product, either on or off the camera. Now in some cases, you might be able to work with the affiliate if you've gotten a relationship with them, and you're going to want to get the product and take a look at it, and then you're going to do an extensive review or enough of a review that's going to make people want to buy it once they actually see it, once they understand the benefits and what it actually does. Now you're going to place that review on a bonus page, and you're going to get that bonus page in front of the traffic by pre-selling them in some kind of content. So the pre-sale content is actually going to send them to the bonus page where your review is actually going to be. You can do that inside of a forum where the traffic is going to be relevant. So if it's an internet marketing product, you want to be in an internet marketing forum. You might do that through a post or a video. It's going to be talking about the marketer's problem. You can do it through fan pages or Facebook Live, where you are literally talking about, again, baiting people in based on the situation that they're in and then moving them on to your bonus page where they're going to see your review. You can use social media groups. Now again, inside of social media groups, you're going to have to make sure that you are not just outright spamming and selling. You want to attract people through your content. You want to attract people through your pre-selling. You can do this extremely well using YouTube. And of course, YouTube is probably going to be one of the best ways for you to be able to do that. If you know about an upcoming launch and you know that maybe it's not going to be as competitive as some of the other launches, you are going to be able to try to get your video in place before the actual launch occurs. So you're going to need to know some basic SEO. You're going to want to know how to optimize your video for search. Also going to need to know how people might search. And when you do that, when you know those two things, you know some basic SEO, you know how people might search, what you were then going to do is then create a Google Hangout, get some live attendees, and get shares on your video. What this is going to do is it's going to make your video more attractive to the search engines, and hopefully to get in place before the launch actually occurs, so that when people go searching, they will end up finding your video as they go looking for the product. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Part 4, turn your products into affiliate marketing promotions. Affiliate marketing is a great way to make use of your existing purchases, again, regardless of what the intent was or what the product actually does. Now, when you buy a product and the price point is $27 and higher, one of the things that you can do, and routinely you probably should do, is to consider becoming an affiliate. But the fact of the matter is that any product you have, you should apply to be an affiliate, and not just in the internet marketing niche. Now, one of the things is, if you don't know the affiliate, sometimes you can end up being placed on what are called delayed commissions, especially when that is JVZoo. Just expect that to be part of the process if you're just getting started. And sometimes, actually, you'll actually even be turned down by the affiliate. Now, that's just part of the process. You should not be discouraged by that, nor should you not pursue this way, because that's going to happen. There are a number of ways for you to be able to promote the product as an affiliate. Now, there are going to be some things that you are going to want to put in place before you start down this path of becoming an affiliate for any product, let alone the product that you are actually using as a marketer. Now, here are the things that you're going to want to have in place. You're going to want to have a website or blog or fan page or some video channel. You need to have a home base or some place where someone can come and experience your content on a regular basis. Now, this can be any of these things. It can be a podcast. It can be something where you are building a platform and you are distributing content. You are going to want to have an autoresponder in place. That means that you can do list building. That means that you can actually have the people on a regular basis, that you can send them an email, and that you can then start to market to them other products and services. You are going to want to have capture pages, mainly because you want to use them to capture new leads as well as to segment your email marketing list. You're going to want to know a little HTML, because you're going to need to make a few changes to a sales page, and sometimes it's time prohibitive for you to have to go and outsource this. If you can get in and do a little HTML, edit some of your pages right away to make quick changes in order to test and tweak, this is going to be to your advantage, especially as an affiliate marketer. You're going to want to have some page building software, because you're going to have to build bonus pages. You're going to build some bridge pages, and these are going to be the things you're going to need in order to do that. You're going to want to have a range of relevant bonuses. So you're going to want to have lots of things that you can use as bonuses in various products. And again, not all bonuses you're going to put in every product, but sometimes you just want to have a few relevant bonuses for any kind of product that you are going to be promoting. You want to be able to rebrand graphics, and sometimes that's going to mean a piece of software. Sometimes that's going to mean that you understand Photoshop, but you need to be able to rebrand graphics. You want to be able to create a video when you need to. So that's typically going to mean you're going to want to have Camtasia or ScreenFlow or some kind of screen capture software where you are going to be able to create a bonus video showing people what they're going to get as an affiliate, or even to do a product demo. Now, here's what you are going to want to do in order to turn your purchases into affiliate marketing opportunities. You're going to want to create some optimized content on your blog or your channel or whatever you're using to create content. Now, this is pretty much going to mean that you want to draw and attract people to their problem by specifying some topics that you're going to talk on that your product is actually going to solve. So that means you're going to make sure that your title is optimized in whatever your content is. Your description needs to have keywords. It needs to be attractive to the people that you're going to want. You want to use tags when they are available. Then you are going to want to do a product review with your results. Again, this comes back down to your being able to create your own results, because those results are actually going to make your selling of it as an affiliate lots more attractive than if you just promoted it without knowing what's in the product. Make sure to set up a bonus page with a graphical representation of what you're going to be providing. So this means that if you have product boxes and software boxes or the images of them, you can place those on the bonus page. That's going to be more attractive to your potential customer than if you just told them what they are going to be getting. You want to direct the traffic to your bonus page. Make sure that you're using copywriting. When you do that, make sure that your page sells them on your bonus. It sells them on clicking through to see the next page. So you have got to make sure that they are interested enough in your bonus and getting it in order to click through to the next page where they are going to want to see the offer. Make sure that that offer is going to convert, but you want to do a great job of pre-selling based on what the sales page is going to be telling them. If you're going to be sending traffic from paid advertising, use an exit pop so that you can collect the leads that you're going to be getting. When you do that, make sure you're promising them a new bonus. Make sure that you're opting them in when you get that cold traffic, and then make sure that you promote the product in an email explaining the benefits. So again, traffic is coming from paid advertising. You want to make sure that minimum, if they don't want the product, that you at least capture them as leads so that you can maximize your ROI. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Part 5, Webinar and Workshop Hijacking. Now, why do a workshop? Now, in some cases, a launch will have already happened, and the market is moving on, or maybe it's bored with the particular concept that you are going to be concerned with. So what you are going to need to do in order to make it sellable is to find a different set of online customers. In some cases, you're going to need to find a different set of offline customers interested in the niche. And these customers can typically be persuaded in a different way. They can be persuaded by your proof. So they don't necessarily need to see a new launch, and they don't necessarily see a big price decrease or a price cut. They're really going to be persuaded by seeing evidence that what you have is going to be right for them at that particular time. And when you have that proof, these customers can be persuaded by the same copy that you're using. Now, you are going to have online customers in different niches, and sometimes there are different pockets of online marketers that may not have heard a particular product in a marketplace, like for instance JVZoo. They're going to be people who have operated in the ClickBank environment but who haven't heard of anything in JVZoo, or maybe they were operating in the Warrior Plus environment. Maybe they were operating in the Zaxa environment, and all these are affiliate networks. Maybe they were operating in the Deal Guardian network, and again, they may not have heard of a particular product in a particular area, and so this will be relevant to them. So what you want to do then is to make something called webinar workshop hijacking work for you in this particular case. What's going to happen is you're going to be sending traffic to a webinar instead of an actual bonus page. So people are going to have a concept taught to them, and then they're going to be asked or pitched on buying a product. Now, obviously, you're going to be using an automated webinar in order to do this. You're basically going to be using the webinar as your testing ground, and you're going to pitch the product to a number of different audiences according to their particular problem. So in other words, you're going to send people with a specific kind of problem to a specific kind of webinar, and you are going to then pitch your product to them based on their particular problem. And of course, all this is going to be easy to do inside of any webinar system where you have control in order to send an automated webinar. Now, in order to do this, you're still going to need a bonus. You are going to need to seed the value throughout your presentation. So you're going to be talking about things like what it would cost to fix their problem. What would it cost to have them see a similar solution? You want to have this throughout the presentation. You don't just want to wait till the end to try to convince people with a very low price. You want to be talking to them about the value they should expect to pay over the course of the time during the webinar. What would it actually cost if things got worse for them? And you should be telling them that throughout your presentation. You want to make sure that whatever facility you're using for your automated webinar, make sure that your customer or your potential customer can see the bonus. So in other words, use a visual representation. If you have a graphical software box or something that they can actually visualize what it is they're going to be getting as a result of picking up the purchase through your affiliate link when you are webinar hijacking. And then make sure that bonus is shown to them when the offer is made. So make sure that it is visible to them. If you can use an automated feature so that they can see that bonus, that it's timed so that when the offer comes, they'll actually see the bonus right along with it so that they know they have to act in order to get the bonus in addition to your offer. And finally, make sure that you are watching your stats very carefully, because you want to make sure you understand whether or not the webinar is actually converting. You want to know at what point people are leaving. You want to know at what point they are coming in. You want to have a good sense for what the webinar is actually doing for you, because again, this webinar is actually taking the place of a bonus page and is actually going to do a main portion of the selling for you. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to pick it up where we left off, and we're going to start talking about traffic, how you're going to actually get people to that bonus or landing page using various means. Now, the first thing that really needs to be discussed is having a platform. This is something that will help you to build a traffic base that people are actually coming to satisfy some kind of need for knowledge, and they're coming to you for it. You want to make sure that this is something that you are generating on a regular basis so that your traffic will be continual. Once you have a profitable offer, you want to have people who are coming to your site because they have an interest in something that they're going to get. You use your platform in order to do that. And this could be a blogging platform. It can be a podcasting platform. It can be a video creation platform. Something where people are getting content on a regular basis and they're coming to you for it. Of course, one of the best ways to do that if you don't have a platform, and even one of the ways that you can build your platform, is to use YouTube video. You can optimize YouTube video so that people can find your video in search, click on a link, and then come to your site. Now, they can actually come by clicking on a link inside of your video, which is called an annotation, or they can click on a link that is in your description area. You should probably have a link in both areas. Basically, what you're trying to do is to put videos in places on subjects that people will be interested in order to come to that landing page and then watch your webinar. One of the more popular ways of driving traffic today is using live streaming video. Now, that means you can do a live Facebook video, or you can do a live Periscope video, or some other social media outlet. You can also pretty much use YouTube for live streaming. These are great ways of being able to drive people based on their interaction with you and their desire to hear what you're saying in a live medium. Of course, those videos are always made for recordings. People can actually go back and watch the recording, but the fact of the matter is some people like to watch live video. You can always catch people, and then you'll be able to deliver them to your location. Now, there is no better medium to drive traffic than to have an email marketing list. So you should always be list building. You should always be driving people onto your email marketing list through an opt-in page, or however they become your customers. You want to make sure that you are always building your list. This is the most efficient and effective way of getting traffic to anything that you are doing. Now, some people will use targeted Facebook ads as well as targeted YouTube ads. These are fantastic ways of being able to pay for traffic. So targeting your customer And then paying to actually get them to that landing page is a great way of using your resources and to be able to scale up your efforts. Solo ads are also a way that you can pay someone who has an email marketing list to be advertising for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your ad for an opt-in, or you're going to write an email which directs people to get something free or directs people to check out your offer, and you're going to have someone else send out that email to their list. You're going to pay them for that privilege, and this is what a solo ad is. Of course, all of this traffic you want to send to a bonus or landing page so that you can collect leads if they decide not to take you up on your offer. Now, on the landing page, you are going to have what's called an anytime link. And with just about every automated webinar system out there, there is a way for you to click on the link and have your customers start watching a webinar almost instantly. And that is what you are going to want to do. You want to give them some sense of immediate gratification to find out what it is that they're looking for, and for them to be able to watch your video in order to get it, or your webinar. Of course, on the landing page, you are also going to have an exit pop. We've talked about that, so that when people click away, that you're going to see another offer or see an offer to opt in immediately. You will also have your retargeting pixel on your landing page so that you can collect data on what your customer is doing. And basically what you're doing is you're going to make sure that people who leave that landing page, they are going to see an ad to opt in. So when they exit, the exit pop's going to show up. They're going to get an ad to opt in. We are also going to show them an ad on Facebook, so that if they did not take action, that they get a chance to take action another time. We're also going to show them ads on YouTube. So again, what we're doing in this case is we're giving them every opportunity to interact with them, and we want to make sure basically that we are tracking in every situation. We are tracking in terms of Google Analytics. We are tracking with Facebook. We are tracking them in terms of our landing page onto YouTube. We want to make sure that every interaction that we have with our prospect or a customer, that we're tracking them, that we're giving them an opportunity to do business with us. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Part 5, PLR and resale rights hijacking. But let's think realistically. Selling your PLR inside of the internet marketing community without rights is going to be difficult at best. Now, you will need to have a new market or change the PLR in order to leverage it. So how do you turn the rights product into something that someone will buy? Now, here's what was sold to you if you bought a PLR product. Typically, what you bought was the opportunity to make money online, or you bought the opportunity to learn something new. Now, if you bought the opportunity to learn something new, you're satisfied with the PLR. More than likely, you had a good sense for something that you didn't know before, and now you have your arms around it, which is great. So let's talk about what is PLR, resale rights, or whatever it is that you purchase when you get a PLR package. PLR is, for the most part, teaching leverage. So if you don't know how to teach a subject, you've got to do a workshop, you've got to do a webinar, you want to get you want to get a bird's eye view of a subject, you can get PLR, and you can do that fairly quickly if you get high quality PLR. It's product leverage. So if you don't have the ability to create your own product, or you just need a jump start, you need some assets in order to start creating a product, PLR can be a great way of being able to use some of the assets inside to either redo them or to use them as some of your components. PLR is bonus leverage. So if you don't have great bonuses to offer, typically you'll get the rights to offer what you purchased as a bonus to a paid promotion that you were doing. It's a tool leverage. So sometimes you'll get a new tool and you will be able to use that PLR as a tool. Sometimes you get software PLR. You can actually use it in your business, or you can actually give it to someone as a bonus, as is the case with all these things. Is membership leverage. So you have a membership site, you want to give those who are coming to your membership something new and something fantastic. You can add PLR to your membership in order to give them even more value than they're getting by paying their membership fee. PLR is also content leverage. So if you don't have the ability to create content on a regular basis, what you can do is you can actually use the PLR to create great content. It is demo or example leverage. So if you don't have a lot of skill in terms of doing a demo on either software or on something when it comes to maybe a particular social media site or whatever the subject of the PLR is, you can use the PLR videos as demo or example leverage on your site. This is a great way of being able to prove yourself to be an expert. Now, in short, what PLR is raw material. It aids you in how you create online income. So the question is always going to be, when you're using PLR, and if you're going to take the PLR that you have and turn it into profit, you have to figure out first who you're selling to. Who is your market? And then you want to find out what the bridge to their problem is. So in other words, you have PLR, but you want to figure out how does that PLR approach their problem and what they're seeking to solve or what they're seeking to accomplish. And so you're going to need to adapt your content. So how can you adapt your content to help you to generate leads every day with this market? How can you use your content to help you to make sales every day with this content? And then how can you do this as quickly as the content is released? In other words, how can you turn something on PLR into something that your market is going to want? Now, let's talk a little bit about your market. Now, your market is going to be composed of a couple of different segments. There are people in your market right now who are looking for a solution right now. They're looking for an answer right now. You can meet their need with your PLR if you adapt it to that situation. There are people who are aware there are solutions available, but they're not sure if they want one right now. There are people in your market who are aware they have a problem, right? And so you can adapt your PLR to them. There are people who are unconscious to their problem or solution. So again, this is another area that you can adapt the PLR to. So the question is, how can you reposition what you have to sell to one or all of these categories in your market? You have something fantastic to offer. You may have to add something to it, but you need to be able to meet these 4 sectors wherever they are so that you get the maximum profit from every piece of PLR that you purchase. So what you've got to figure out is what the shortest route is between their problem and your PLR. Whatever that gap is, you can actually adapt the PLR by adding something to it to give it the value that makes someone who's looking for a solution now want it. Someone who is aware there are solutions available, that they want it too. Someone who is aware they have a problem, to make them want it. So you want to think about it in these 4 sectors, and then you want to figure out the shortest route between their actual problem and what your PLR is. So now in the next video, we want to talk about how you're going to attract these 4 sectors into your list. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing attracting people to your list and to your products. Now, the single biggest key is to start with the market, not with the PLR. So, for example, if you buy Facebook PLR, you don't necessarily want to go out to market that Facebook PLR. You want to start with, well, where is the market? What is it that the market is requiring? What is it that they desiring? What is it that they have questions about? Because that is the way that you're going to be able to take whatever you have on your hard drive, whatever you have in your inventory, and then you're going to be able to adapt that to the market and have a sellable product, even if you have to change the PLR. And so the question is going to be, what do you need to respond to the market, and how will you respond? In other words, what will make it a no-brainer for me to opt in to get your report or video about whatever the subject matter is? So if you understand your market, you understand what it is that they're looking for, you can then start to determine what kind of report, what kind of video, what can you take from your PLR in order to give me so that I will want to opt into your list without question. And of course, now one of the things that you're going to be using in order to get people to that opt-in page is targeted, specific content and blogging, or platform content, which will show people how to solve their particular problem. In other words, we are responding to the market. We're getting a sense for what it is they want to know, what it is they want to solve. We can also, of course, use paid advertising. We are going to be able to get them to look at an ad, to click over to our opt-in page, and then to attract them onto our list with something fantastic. Once again, making sure that it's a no-brainer. And of course, we can also use pre-sale video. And in all cases, we can use all three of these things. All three of these things actually go together. Content, advertising, video, because video is actually in and of itself search content. We can also use pre-sale audio and podcasting. So if you primarily deliver great content using podcasting or audio, you want to consider using podcasting or interviews. You can also use JV and collaboration. Now, this is the more advanced strategy, but if you can create an alliance where you can either be on someone's download page, or if you want to create a product together with someone, you can then start to bring people onto your list through collaboration. You'll have more people coming to your product as a result of your partnership. And of course, one of the things that you can do to attract people onto your list is to use what's called the product creation snowball. And that's where you're going to repeatedly create products that people are going to come in small numbers, but as they come, they then start to become part of your list. So you're not really concerned necessarily about having a big launch. You're going to do lots of little launches. You're going to do them in places like Warrior Plus, in a place where you're going to be able to get a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs onto your particular offer, and then you will build your list gradually. Of course, in all these cases, you're going to use your rights products for all of these, even the product creation snowball, as you begin to make unique products with them. You're using your PLR in order to build your list and to create momentum with buyers, create momentum with prospects. But ultimately, this is very important. This has been mentioned before. If you want to have profit where people are coming to your site and you are not chasing them, you and I will need to create a platform. That's going to be something where we're going to be giving people on a regular basis the information that they are seeking to achieve their goals and to solve their problems. And we're going to have to do that with something unique in the marketplace. And it is going to have to help them to get their goals. In most cases, you can focus on problems, but eventually, if you want people to come back to you over and over again, you and I have to help people to accomplish their goals with our content. We do this on a regular basis. We're going to be able to use our PLR in different ways in order to give people what they want and to create products and to attract people into our marketing funnel so that we can sell them the things that will actually meet their needs. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, now hidden in everything that you buy are multiple opportunities to generate leads and make sales. And that really is the point of what you want to do or what you want to take away from this course. You want to always buy products and services in line with your brand, your unique selling proposition, and your infrastructure. So in other words, if you were a furniture store, you wouldn't put off buying inventory or retail space or electricity. And so you want to think about your internet marketing business in the same way. If you decided on a particular direction, don't make the purchases that keep you from making the special purchases that you must make in order to have the things you need to do for your particular line of business. So think about how you are going to be able to build your brand and then avoid doing things that are going to keep you from building that brand. So what we've been talking about here are things that you can do to take your existing purchases, to monetize them and turn them into passive sources of income. And we talked about turning your purchases into services. We talked about turning webinars into products. We talked about turning your purchases into products themselves using the 7P method. We talked about turning your purchases into affiliate promotions. We talked about webinar and workshop jacking. We talked about PLR hijacking, in other words, using it so that we can have various ways of drawing people into our marketing funnel. And then we talked about turning our products into list building opportunities. Now we want to end our session today by talking about avoiding substitutes. Now, in the book Peak by Anders Ericsson, he talked about the fact that deliberate practice is how you're going to improve your profit. So in other words, the only thing that's really going to improve you as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, is making sure that you do over and over again the things that are going to make you successful, learning from your mistakes. So you're going to have to go through repeated attempts to try different things. You're going to have to make sure that you're getting feedback. And sometimes that feedback is pretty direct. You either made sales or you didn't. You either generated leads or you didn't. But what you want to do is you want to be careful in thinking that you can substitute a software purchase for practice. In other words, the software is not going to do the work for you. It's not going to learn for you. It's not going to understand for you. You're still going to have to do the work. So as you use software, as you purchase software, you want to make sure it's a complement to what you're trying to do to get to your goal and not as a replacement for doing the hard work and understanding your market. For example, no software is going to make Facebook ads profitable all by itself without having us pay for someone to understand it or without us understanding it ourselves. We still have to do the work. We've got to pay someone in order to do it. In the business book, Blue Ocean Strategy, the authors talked about the fact that entrepreneurs have to understand where the market is and then offer something that isn't currently there. So you and I have to understand what sells. We have to understand what's really desired because people buy what they want and not what they need. And we have to understand that PLR is raw material. In and of itself, it probably is not going to sell out of the box in great numbers, but if we can turn it into what people want, we're going to be able to generate more sales. We have to be careful in thinking that we can substitute PLR for understanding our market and doing the work in meeting the market needs. Now, in the book Deep Work, the author talked about the fact that most of us fail to get the most out of work time due to distractions that we think might actually be work. So we have to schedule our interactions. We have to make sure that interaction is focused on a particular subject or a goal. And in most cases, we're going to need to get someone who can give us guidance, some kind of coach or direction. So we want to be careful in thinking that what happens inside of a group, social media group, Facebook group in particular, is going to turn into profit all by itself. Much of what we discussed there will go away due to distraction. We need focused and scheduled interaction, and we need to make sure that we're getting feedback from someone who understands the process. Now, lastly, in the book Smarter, Faster, Better, the author talked about the fact that for us to make concrete changes, we need to do things that put us in the driver's seat. He called that concept locus of control. So we need to be able to answer the question, what do we need to do in the next 7 days in order to accomplish our goal? And so we have to back into what has to happen every day. And so we have to begin to think about what's our minimum viable activity. The one thing that we can do in order to separate what we're doing from a hobby to really turning it into a business is there must be something that without doing, we cannot consider our day complete. So there should be some minimal viable activity that really does lead to your creating more profit. So we want to be careful in thinking that buying a course is making the decision. We have to go ahead and make the decision as to where we're going in our business and then to do those things that will take us there on a daily basis. We have to make the decision first about where we're going and what we need before we start buying so that we can buy the things that are going to lead us to accomplish our goals on a regular basis. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you either in another video or in another course.